Chris from Internal Bleeding, and you're burning up on Hellbound.
This is Todd Owens with Hellbound, and we're here tonight at the Oakland Metro with legend Chris from Internal Bleeding. How you doing tonight, Chris?
Good, man. How are you?
All right, you guys just rolled into Oakland and coming across U.S. on this little tour with some other bands. So how's the tour been going? You're out there with Vader and a few others.
Yeah, with Vader, Macabre, Sacrificial Slaughter, and Voices of Ruin. Tour's been great so far. All the bands are great. The package is really good. It's a good mix of bands.
Eclectic, right?
Yeah. Eclectic is a good word. You know, we've got melodic death. We got a little bit of like brutal death. We've got Internal Bleeding. We've got Vader. You know, it's a real good combination of bands, and the turnouts have been awesome. And the action's been awesome. A lot of people going crazy. A lot of people going nuts. We're really having a good time.
All right. This tour, and then you got other tour plans beyond this? Anything more in the U.S. or outside the U.S., Europe, or anything?
We're going to Europe. Excuse me. We're going to Europe in October to play the Berlin Death Fest. We're being flown in for that, so that should be killer. And really, just a bunch of one-off shows after this tour. A bunch of one-off shows, but we want to lock down and finish writing our next album and have it out by the summer, so we can hit the road again in the summer of 2018. That's the plan.
Okay.
So
2018. So you mentioned new material. Now you guys had, I guess, a track that released just a few months back, right?
Right. We released it. Right. We released I guess you could call it a teaser for what's coming from the new album. The song is called Final Justice. Kind of gives you a glimpse into where our head is at musically, and also production-wise, kind of where our head is at, because we're trying to really strip away all the production and get down to a dirty, nasty kind of live sound, like so you feel like you're in our practice space watching us play. That's kind of what we want. And the production of this is real close to what we want. It's not perfect yet, but we found a producer who's really good at getting a raw sound, a raw high energy live sound. And we're a high energy live band, and that overproduced, hear every single note, you know, completely sampled sound is just it's not right for Internal Bleeding. And so we're really going, like I said, stripped down and really hard and hot. And it's going to be
a little return to roots, kind of, sort of, from production.
Yeah.
Maybe, or not so much, but
yeah, no, kind of a return to roots. Yeah,
yeah.
Philosophy-wise, we said to ourselves, you know, get in there, play like fucking hell, and get it in one take. If you make a little mistake, you're not going to fix it. You know, because that's the live thing, you know. I mean, if it's a tremendous mistake, there's going to be an overdub. But if something is a little bit flubbed, we're going to leave it so there's some character to everything. At least that's what we're thinking. That's where our head is at now. And, you know, that's how it is in Final Justice. And we're really pleased with how raw and hot it sounds. So we're trying to do the same kind of thing. Go in there, just beat the crap out of our instruments and get it done, you know,
right.
Old school style.
Here in Oakland, we got the bus pulling up next to us.
Oh my.
All right, so anyway, I wanted to ask about your friend, your partner, and from your musical partner and your friend, longtime friend, 25 plus years, Bill, that left us a couple months back. So just
yeah,
Bill, you know, it's been being on the road without him. I just can't imagine.
Excuse me. It's been a really sad and you know, I have a lot of mixed emotions, because when Bill died, it was probably the worst day of my life, and the week after that was probably the worst week of my life, and leading up to this tour was the worst month of my life, and it's still absolutely horrible. I cry constantly. I miss Bill. Like, I can't tell you how close me and him were. I can't describe it. You know, other than living in a van together and being in a band, we always talk to each other every single day, religiously. At 8:30 in the morning, I would call him or he'd call me, and we'd bullshit before our work days started. You know, we were both involved in each other's families. So it's been a really hard pill to swallow. And, you know, we decided that, you know, when he died right before the tour started, 2 weeks before the tour started. And
this was on the books for a while that you had planned this tour.
Yeah. And Billy was really excited to do it. And, you know, there was no question that we weren't going to stop. You know, Bill would want us to tour, so we're doing it.
So you didn't even think about it. It was just we're going forward.
Yeah. And Bill's with us, man. We brought his drum kit out, so he's taking one last tour of the country, and it's something he would always want. You know, he loved the fans and he loved the music, and you know, it's horrible. At least I can speak about it now without cracking up and turning into a blubbering idiot. But I miss him terribly, and I always will, and he'll always be part of this band no matter what. And a lot of the material on the next album is Bill's beats. He wrote them. We have them recorded, so whoever's going to play drums is going to copy those beats. So Bill's beats will live on in the next album too. So that's real cool.
He was on the Final Justice track, and then so is that the final official track? With Bill?
Isn't that, how crazy is that? The song's called Final Justice, and there's Bill on the fucking track, and it was a song that he really loved. He thought that we finally had the, you know, we went through a lot of years of trouble, and he finally thought that we finally had the lineup that was going to kind of really take us to a next level, and he was real proud of the song. He's real proud of the video. He loved the video. It reflected who we are, you know, very live, very in your face, very fun, you know, because that's something we stress is, you know, fun and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. The song's called Final Justice, and he's in it, but it's a fitting tribute to the man.
It's a great track.
Thank you.
Going back, I just maybe briefly, how did you meet Bill in the first place way back when? Was it through music? Was it friends?
No, it was through music. When I first started, I guess in late 1990 or so, early 1991, I was looking for band members. I had been handing out like you used to.
Did you have a previous band before Internal? Is that
yeah, I had a previous band called Autumn Rain, which was kind of like a Black Sabbath-y band, but he had no relationship to that. So, you know, I went to a lot of shows back in the day, and, you know, I decided when I was getting my band together, I put out, you know, I handed out flyers at shows looking for a drummer, looking for a bassist, vocalist, blah, blah, blah. And he was one of the first drummers to answer the call. There were other drummers that
Did you mention bands in your ad, do you think, or style of music? Do you remember? Like,
well, I remember.
Or your flyer you were handing out?
I remember saying it was death metal.
Okay.
You know,
I was saying something back in.
Yeah, I remember saying that. I don't remember what the ads said particularly. Mm-hmm. I knew it was what I wanted to play, and I was hoping to find people who wanted to play that. Bill was the first guy. I mean, we tried a couple of drummers, or I tried because it was just me putting it together. I tried a couple of drummers, and it wasn't working. But me and Bill, like, I swear to God, within 3 seconds, we would look at. You know, I started writing one of the riffs for one of our songs, Ruthless Inhumanity. That's one of the first songs I ever wrote. He jumped in, and it's like he knew what to do. And I looked at him, and I'm like, fuck, this sounds good, doesn't it? And he's like, yeah, this does sound pretty freaking good. So, and he was, obviously, even back then, he was coming at it kind of a little different than maybe what was traditionally death metal at that time for drummers, right? Absolutely, and that's what attracted me to him. He had more of a, you know, he had the blast beats down and all that, which is the obligatory stuff, but he had...
You're looking for some groove.
Right. He had more of a Bill Ward, John Bonham, like, you know, Biohazard, kind of street groove.
Matching them cymbals.
Right, yeah. I mean, Bill was a cymbal master, you know, and that's what attracted to me, because when I listened to him playing, I was like, wow, it sounds like Bill Ward mixed with death metal, you know, and I was like, man, this is perfect, you know, and it worked out because me and him believed this, kind of had the same belief pattern that the music, it doesn't have to be all crazy, it doesn't have to be all technical, you know, we want to strip that away and just focus on making hooks and grooves, almost like classic rock, you know, but in a death metal format, you know, just hooks and grooves that grab you and just don't let go of you, and you walk away, you remember the songs, you remember the riffs and things like that. So and we both agreed on that.
Works for pop and rock, why can't it work for death metal, right?
Yeah.
You write a memorable song.
Absolutely, write a memorable song, that's it, you know. I mean, I know a lot of bands that put out music and you tell somebody to hum one of their riffs and they'll have no clue. Right. They'll just go, oh, it's sick. Yeah, but do you remember the song, you know? That's our philosophy. You got to remember the song. At least 3 or 4 riffs from the song, you know?
And plus, when you have this kind of up and down, the heavier is heavier and the slower is slower, and it makes everything better.
Yeah, it's called light. Yeah, right. It's called light and shade. Right. You know, you have the tension and release, light and shade, whatever you want to call it. that's something we specialize in is drama. You know, you build the listener up and then you break them down. You know, you lead up to the parts that have meaning to them. So, yeah.
All right. So after tour stuff, you'll be working on the new stuff. You have songs written, and then hopefully a year from now, maybe you'll be looking at maybe possibly releasing something, right?
Yeah.
2018.
We're really shooting for the late spring, early summer. We have, I think, probably 3/4 of the album written already. The album's gonna be called Corrupting Influence. Like I said, 3/4 of it has been written already. We're really happy with it. When we get home, we're gonna finish writing the rest of it, and then it's just jam, 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 jam. And hopefully January, February, we're in the studio, and it's out in May or June.
And label, who are you working with? You're still
Unique Leader.
Still with Unique, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're happy
Yeah.
with them, I guess?
Very happy. Eric, the owner of the label, is a great guy. At least he's a great guy to us. He treats us well. He gets us what we need. He fully supports us. You know, we were going to do the Final Justice single by ourselves. You know, we told Eric, we're going to well, listen, we want to put it out. We got a new singer now. You know, we feel a lot more energized than even when we did Imperium. We want to put this out, you know. And he jumped in. He's like, "Oh well, let's put it out as a digital single. You know, I'll pay for a video. Let's do it. You know, because he had heard the pre-production of the track and he loved it. So he jumped right on board. You know, and wanted to get into it. And we're really happy he did. It got a lot of exposure, and you know, I'm happy. Can't
Sweet.
complain. Yeah.
Well, what are appetites for more Internal Bleeding? For sure, we'll be eagerly awaiting it.
Yeah, it's gonna be everything you expect from Internal Bleeding, but I think there's going to be even more twists and surprises than Imperium had. I think it's a little more tightly focused, a little more streamlined, and it's heavier, if that's possible. But it is heavier. So yeah, there's some stuff we've written that's just like pounds you over the head, sledgehammer, heavy. You know, which is what I love. You know.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I'm psyched. I hope everybody likes it when it comes out.
All right. Well, anything else? I always ask about gear. So anything special gear-wise you wanted to talk about, and then I'll let you on your way. No, nothing.
No, not really.
Running the same stuff?
I still run the same stuff. You know, in the studio, I use a Ampeg VH140C and a PV6505 Plus. I take the PV6505 Plus out on the road with me, just because the Ampeg is so old, it can't handle the abuse anymore. So it stays for a studio to get that sound that I want. And I get close to that Ampeg sound with the 6505 and my overdrive pedal, so I'm pretty happy with it. That's it. I don't use any effects. You know, I like to keep it clean, keep it simple, and just, you know, get out there and just...
In your hands.
Yeah, and wail. You know, that's it.
All right. Well, I want to say thanks for the time tonight, and looking forward to the set tonight. I've been seeing reviews online. Everyone's been saying you guys are just slaying it live. So
oh yeah, man. Yeah, you saw it here at Bay Area last year. How sick it was.
I know.
Well, just imagine we've had a year more of jamming together 2 or 3 times a night, and we're really tight. We're really lethal, and we've stepped up our live show even more. So it should be a hell of a good time.
All right. Look forward to it. Thank you, Chris. And
yeah,
again,
thank you.
Sorry for your loss, Chris. For Bill's loss.
Thank you. Cheers to all our fans.
All right.